Every year, the federal government puts aside close to $4 billion for companies to participate in research and development activities to bring innovation to the marketplace.
Welcome everyone. It's Friday and I am so thrilled. I've been looking forward to this opportunity to have a wonderful conversation with Dr. Adrian Denvir. Hi.
Hey Syreeta, how you doing? Call me Adrian.
Adrian, I'm just so grateful that we met.
Yeah.
You know, we actually met at the Business Beyond the Battlefield
yes.
conference
Yep.
back in October.
And so,
Yes.
just a kind of interesting fact about that. So as part of our program, we'll talk a little bit about it later, but you know, outreach is a huge portion of the work that we do.
Yes.
And we understand how important veterans are, how underserved they are in these like SBIR communities, but they're such hard workers. And once you give a veteran a task to do, they achieve that task. And so that's why we were at the conference, and look how well it worked out.
I know.
Every time we go somewhere, there's always one or two big wins. So
That's
it's great to bring you
right.
onto the team and
Yes.
been working with you on being able to write federal grants.
Yes, and that's why we're here, because what you do is incredible. And I believe the world should know exactly how you can impact, you know, every small business that's out there that has an interest, an idea. Absolutely. With that, I'm Syreeta Mitchell. I'm the host of Cheez. Our whole video podcast is about inspiring the future of entrepreneurship and investing. What we're talking about today is federal grant opportunities.
Yep.
And Adrian, you have there's so many questions that I know I could just ask, and we could talk for hours and hours, but I just know that this conversation is going to really help someone that has been looking for an opportunity like this. But let's get into just talking about you.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I guess you can hear from my accent, I'm not from Texas. So I'm from a little town, it's called Downpatrick. And Downpatrick is probably about 20 miles south of Belfast in Northern Ireland. And it's a wonderful little place, steeped in history all the way back to Neolithic times. But our claim to fame is where St. Patrick's buried. So I grew up about 20, maybe 300 yards away from St. Patrick's grave. Little town, I was, you know, just very typical Irish person, wasn't exposed to a lot of science except in school. And I remember telling my parents for Christmas, I said, Mom, I would like Santa to bring me a chemistry set. And she said, chemistry set?
You asked for a chemistry set?
I asked for and these were good chemistry sets. These were the ones that had magnesium ribbon and sulfuric acid and all the stuff you cannot buy today.
I'm just trying to understand how you knew to ask for that.
I did. I was interested in chemistry, interested in science, so I wanted a chemistry set.
Wow.
And she said, I'm sure Santa will bring you one, but you're never going to use it. You know, I don't know why you're getting this. You're never going to use it.
That's
I
hilarious.
loved chemistry. I fell in love with chemistry. Actually, you look at it like a language. You know, it's the language that ties together a lot of the sciences. And so I studied chemistry in high school, went to England, studied pure and applied chemistry at the University of Coventry. And then through some weird cycle, I ended up, I wanted to do inorganic chemistry, couldn't do it. I ended up getting into the PhD program for electrochemistry. The worst chemistry I've ever taught. I said, there's no way I'll be able to do this.
Right.
It's going to be all math. And they said, no, it's not. It's fine. It's going to be a lot of inorganic chemistry. I was lucky to have my PhD funded by a company. So I did pretty much industrial research for my PhD.
Amazing.
It was fantastic. So I got paid to actually go to school and do my PhD. So I studied at the University of Southampton. And it turned out that is the premier school in the world for electrochemistry. So
amazing.
All of a sudden I had these doors that were open to me just because of the people that I worked with. I ended up going to a conference in Reno talking about my PhD project that I had. And there was a gentleman called Oliver Murphy who was presenting at the same conference. And Oliver came up to me, and Oliver was from Ireland as well. And he was at the same, not the same school, but it was a De La Salle boys' school that he went to as well. And he was like, all right, Adrian boy, how's it going there? You know, would you like to come and work for me? And so I ended up accepting a job in College Station, Texas.
Wow.
So I decided I was going to move from the UK and immigrate from the UK, move to College Station to work for Lintech, and it was the start of probably one of the greatest scientific journeys that a young man could ever take. So I got thrown into the world of really not just electrochemistry, but technology development, commercializing technologies through being able to attain federal funding. And again, on the fortuitous side of that, when I first started, I was working on a project for NASA to do laundry in space, how to clean clothes in a zero gravity environment. And
that sounds so interesting.
it was, and because I was working for NASA, I got an accelerated green card. So I was on what is known as the National Interest Waiver. So I got a green card in 6 months. And typically record time. And typically it takes about 2-3 years.
I can imagine.
And so I was off to the races then. I had a green card. I could work on any government project. And so that's really kind of how I started off working and getting into the scientific field in the United States. And Lintech was primarily an SBIR company.
I see.
All we did was work on projects during the day and then come in at night and write grants. And so typically, by the time we finished, we would end up writing about 30 grants a year. And we understood the subtleties and all of the little nuances that went into writing the grant, what the agency was looking for, what the different funding agencies were looking for. So we could take one idea and tailor it to multiple agencies and then start kind of shotgunning in a lot of different grants. And the success rate was probably around 20 to 25%, which is good for the SBIR program.
Right.
But our phase 1 to phase 2 conversion rate was 90%. So
wow.
If we got a project funded, we were pretty much guaranteed that we would get a phase 2 out of it. So
incredible.
And so that's what we were kind of worked on. So I worked on all these different technology areas and
yes.
everything. So.
I'm sure someone's watching this and they're asking the question, what is SBIR?
Absolutely.
And that, to me, I want to really, really just open that conversation up. We're talking about exactly the small business innovation research.
Yep. Every year, the federal government puts aside close to $4 billion for companies to participate in research and development activities to bring innovation to the marketplace. And so there's 12 federal agencies that participate in this program. DoD is by far the majority with about 1.3 billion. And then the Health and Human Services, which includes NIH, CDC, and the FDA, probably is another $1.2 billion. And they release all of these funds, but EPA, Department of Energy, National Science Foundation, Department of Education, Department of Transportation, NIST, Department of, all these other places participate in this program as well. The research and development work that needs to be done has to advance that funding agency's research and development goals. That's how they report back to the federal government. So they will release solicitations multiple times during the year to say, here are topics that we are looking for innovations in. This is research and development that will help us achieve our mission and our research and development missions as well. And so being able to understand what those philosophies are, what those agencies are specifically asking for, how to work with those federal agencies, and how to write a responsive proposal. It's really, really, it's a skill that people need to learn.
Yes.
And for so long, SBIR and how to do this has been hidden from the general population.
It has. I didn't know about it until this year.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a 30-year-old program.
That just blows my mind. 30 years?
30 years. And so there's a group of people that know about it, and they're like, we're keeping this secret.
Keep it top secret.
Yeah, we're not telling anybody.
No one wants to share it.
But I mean, it's a fantastic program to participate in. Since the reauthorization about 2 years ago, the the agencies have shifted focus now onto small businesses, 1 to 5 person operations that have never gotten federal funding before, that are hungry and aggressive to bring technology to the marketplace. Those are the companies that these agencies want to fund. They don't want to fund the dinosaurs that have been in the business for 20 years, just
Right.
living off the fat on these grants. They
Right.
want to fund companies that are going to help them meet their missions. And that's what's so exciting about the
It
work
is.
that we do now with this SBIR Phase Zero program that we have.
Adrian, I'm just, so grateful we met, because after meeting you, you unlocked so much of the information that I wouldn't have known otherwise.
Yeah.
But I would love for you to just share a little bit about, as in your role as director over at UNT,
Yeah.
Health and Science Center. Talk about like the mission that you're on and how small businesses should be taken advantage of, or just participating or applying to the program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to kind of step back again to my Lintech days, because this all kind of ties in. When I was at Lintech, we formed a technology transfer group, and we relocated up to the Metroplex. We had an office in Richardson. And what we did was we identified there's about $1.2 billion in research and development money that comes into universities in North Texas every year. And there's only a little bit that's coming out. And so that's not a big return on investment for the federal government and universities. So there was a thing called the Bayh-Dole Act that requires universities to have a technology transfer office and to license out and get technologies out into the marketplace. So we saw that as an opportunity. We started the tech transfer office, and we started working with each of the universities in North Texas. So
Wow.
UT Southwestern, UTD, SMU, and UNT Health Science Center. And that's where I met Dr. McLean for the very first time, probably maybe 20 years ago. And so we met Rob, and Rob stood out, and the Health Science Center stood out for us in the way they looked at getting innovations into the marketplace. It was different than the other tech transfer offices. And so there was something unique and something special about that. So anyway, I worked my way through that, ended up leaving to go into big industry. So I worked for a big chemical company. I run their skunk works, and we were doing rapid product to the marketplace. So beakers and test tube to products within a year and a half.
A year and a half.
Yeah.
So tell me about the types of products.
So we were working in the water treatment space.
Okay.
So what we wanted to do was we wanted to develop new technologies that were completely new to the industry, and then get them tested and into the market and sold. So one of the things that we did was I identified being able to control biofilm. Nobody was doing that at all. It was a thing that people avoided because they didn't understand it. But because of my background and the work that I'd done previously at Lintech, I was pretty much a biofilm expert. So we come in and we said, we've got this product, and you know, whenever you've got your dentures and you soak your dentures at night
Right.
and it cleans them, it's the same thing for that, but it's for water treatment. So
Interesting.
and so we developed
Wow.
a product that would have a similar action, but wouldn't be corrosive or have scaling issues and things like that. So we launched this product that was called BioXile, and it is a global product now. So we did all the research in the lab, developed new biofilm tests so we could actually demonstrate the product, worked with our marketing department, got field trials, got feedback from the reps, were able to modify the product, and then boom, we got a product launch. So it's sold globally now, and it's one of the big market differentiators that the company uses. So they'll come in and say, hey, you know, we've got this biofilm product, nobody else has anything like that. In addition to that, I also developed, there was a biofilm monitoring system that nobody had, and I take that back. The other ones that exist in the marketplace cost about $15,000. We developed one that costs $400 and works better than any of the other ones that are out there.
Incredible.
So with the biomonitor and the biofilm treatment, we were able to come in and have a product or a suite of products that nobody else would have. So anyway, I did
Interesting.
that. I did all
You've
these
done a
different. I
lot.
have done a lot.
You are an explorer.
Yeah,
You're an inventor. You come up with so many
yeah.
ideas. I mean,
And so it was.
it's
So we had all
incredible.
this going, and
Yes.
while I was doing that, I periodically I felt, I wonder what they're doing at the Health Science Center. I wonder what Rob's doing, and kind of so that was in my mind all the time. And then out of the blue, I saw this thing on LinkedIn, and it said, we're looking for someone to run an SBIR Phase Zero program out of the Health Science Center with Dr. McLean. And I went, you know what? This is calling to me. This position is calling to me um, as something that I think I'm a scientist. This is somewhere where I can help give back to the community that helped me become the scientist I am today. And
Wow.
so Rob and I had a couple of conversations about this, and he said, we've got this. We have a grant from Tarrant County to help Tarrant County companies participate in the SBIR program. Tarrant County is underrepresented by far amongst Dallas County, San Antonio, all of the other places
Really?
in the
Okay.
SBIR program. And we think that this would be a great opportunity for economic development and to get small businesses participating in the program.
I see.
And it really did appeal to me to be able to do that. And we talked about it, and we talked about establishing a program, and getting the ball rolling on it. And eventually, it came time to pull the trigger, and I had to say, I'm going to quit my job. That's a pretty safe job working for this big company to start this brand new endeavor for Tarrant County for the start this SBIR program. So I ended up quitting. I took a big pay cut to do this, but it is by far the most rewarding job I've ever done, and it's the one of the program that we've developed is the thing I'm probably most proud of in my scientific career. So
I
it's
am
been
too.
it
It's amazing
yeah,
the work that you do
yeah,
and the time that you put into helping small businesses, just
hmm
like myself
yeah,
and my team, being able to just tap you
hmm
for information or just understand, how to apply. You're just a wealth
yeah,
of a fountain of information
yeah.
for us, and it's so appreciated.
And so the program that we put together, it's really unique. There's nothing like it in the United States. And again, I cannot say thank you enough to Tarrant County for funding this opportunity, because it really is what they've done for these small businesses by allowing this program to exist is phenomenal. And really unprecedented the way they looked at this. But we put together, myself, and I can't say I could have done this without my colleague Nicole Riley, who
That's
is
right. I love
Nicole.
Nicole.
She is an absolutely phenomenal person.
She is.
We developed this what we call our SBIR Phase Zero program. And what it is it's kind of a multi-pronged approach. We do public outreach to educate people that the program exists, and then we do training and grant writing assistance. And in order to do that, so we had to build this program from the ground up. It did not exist at all. So we had to think about what type of a curriculum we were going to do. We had to look for people that were we could subcontract to help write the grants, because I cannot work with everybody on writing their grant for them. So
It's
people have to,
intense,
yeah, it
all
is.
the
It really is. Yeah.
applications.
And so we
Yes.
identified several key areas that really would help companies. The first one is how to register with the federal government, because small business, and we're going through this right now. We've actually spun out two companies from the university, so we're living this right now. But registering with the federal government is a nightmare.
It is
With each one of these agencies, none of them have the same registrations. They're all different
different
requirements.
requirements.
Yeah, and
Yes.
it's like you have to jump through this hoop, and then you have to join this group, and then you have to then you use the data from that to join this
That's
other thing.
true.
And if you're a small business and you're running and you're making payroll and you're struggling to do your thing and say, right, I'm going to participate in this program. I get into it. I'm going to get my SAM registration. And you start and you get halfway through it and you go, you know what? I'm doing it. I've got the defeat Cobra going here. I'm done. I'm finished.
It's over.
It's over. I'm not doing this anymore. And these companies, and they
yes.
do, and they walked away. And so that's the first thing that we do. We help companies get their federal registration. And then we teach them about how to write grants. What are the subtle differences between the different agencies and how to write the different grants, but also to think as a grant writer and as a researcher instead of someone who is pitching to angel investors and venture capital. So these people want to fund high risk, high reward research. They want you to say, I've got this research project and man, it is risky and the chances of it working are pretty slim, but we think we have a way to be able to do this. That's the kind of thing that these agencies want to fund. And so being able to write the grants and articulate yourself in a way that's important, that's necessary in order to get the grants funded. Then we talk about commercialization, how to develop a commercialization plan, and then how to develop a budget, how to not go to jail, how to not defraud the federal. And so all of the things that are associated with that. So after the course is over, then we work kind of one-on-one with our companies in order to help them write their first grant and get their first grant submitted. If they want to come back through the program again, we'll let them come through a second time and we'll help them with a grant assistance again. But we never go away. And we're here to give advice. We're the cheerleaders for the companies that have come through the program.
You are.
And so we've been blessed to have 65 companies participate in our program so far.
That's outstanding.
Since February.
Since February.
So we've had
incredible.
Some of them have kind of fallen by the wayside or have said, you know what, we appreciate everything you've done, but this is we just don't have the bandwidth or the capabilities to do that. And that's understandable.
Sure.
But, the companies that have stuck with it, like I say, we've had a company that just submitted their third grant today, and they're turning them out, and they'd never written a grant before September.
Wow.
And so
that means if they did it,
everybody
other businesses.
Everybody could do it. Believe in yourself and believe in the process. And
absolutely.
It just takes to sit down and take a little chunk at a time and do what you're supposed to do.
That's right.
And you get it done. And once you get the first one done, the second one is infinitely easier. And the third one's easier after that.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you're, boom, turning them out without any problem.
Happening every year, renewing every year. The grants, these are not small grants. Oh. Talk more about that.
So typically the grants are somewhere between 150,000 and 400,000 for what they call a phase one. A phase one is really a feasibility study. You've got an idea, and it doesn't even have to have any substance to it. Just an idea on a piece of paper. If you can articulate how you will design a research plan to demonstrate the feasibility of that, they will fund that. That's something that's fundable. If you have preliminary data to back it up, all the better. But so this is up to 400,000 non-dilutive funding. So you don't have to give it back. This is yours. You can buy your own equipment on this money.
Absolutely.
Phase twos go up to over $2 million, non-dilutive funding.
This is the best kept secret.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is per agency.
It's per agency.
We're not talking about total award.
It's per
agency. Each
grant.
agency has a budget.
Yeah. and so you can have a phase two. And so the way, if you know how to play the SBIR game, you can get a phase one developing a core technology for the Army, and say your research is going to be, I'm going to use water treatment as an example.
Right.
So you've got a technology that can purify stream and river water to make it drinkable for troops in forward positions. Okay, nobody else has anything like that. Okay, well, that's fantastic. All of a sudden you have a way to make drinking water for the military. That's going to have different requirements for if you want to take that same technology and say, we're going to put this in hospitals, and we're going to make sterilized water
Right.
in the hospital, because that's a big problem that hospitals have. And so that's a different, it's just the core technology is the same, the application is completely different. The scope of work is completely different. So all of a sudden you've got now 2 grants based around a core technology that you've got funding for up to maybe say 700, this like say $700,000, and then the potential to go from that to another $5 million in the phase 2 just on those 2 projects alone. Build on that, and all of a sudden you've got an opportunity to have, you know, $8 to $10 million around a core technology that you need to develop.
Wow.
Non-dilutive funding, you know,
That's right.
you can, it's 7% profit.
That's right.
You have 7% guaranteed profit on that. You cover your patent costs, it'll
That's
cover your
it.
indirect costs, your direct costs, your materials and supplies, any equipment that you need to buy. It's an absolutely wonderful, wonderful grant.
It is.
And in addition to that, it teaches you about your business. It teaches you
does.
to learn about your technology and the area, the research and development. The research is just part of your learning. You're going to learn a lot about a product whenever you start doing the research that's necessary to bring it to the marketplace.
And you made a great point. These are the fundamentals that every business really should know.
Yes.
Commercialization plan should already be, you know, something that every business is working on every year as they expand and grow, and the budgeting and the research and development initiatives, all of that, customer discovery. That's a big part of being in a business.
Huge, absolutely huge. But you have to remember, like, that a lot of these companies are coming out of universities or they're academics, so they're all like these eggheads. Doctor, PhD. You know, all of these PhDs are coming out of universities, and they've spent their career in academia, where they think that, first of all, I've got because it's me and because it's my product, everybody's is going to want to buy it because I'm so fantastic. And they get out in the real world and they're like, no, dude, that needs to be blue, and it needs to have a reality check. It really is. So customer discovery is like huge,
it's big.
And a lot of people don't know how to do it.
Skip that step.
They do.
And you're right. Maybe they just don't know how.
They don't know how, and they're not aware that that's something that's going to be beneficial to them. So that's, again, as part of our program. You know, if you're coming in and you're going to do NSF, for example, you know, we are going to encourage you, if you can go to an ICOR program, do that. We're actually thinking about, as we try to expand the program out, maybe introducing our own type of ICOR, mini ICOR into it.
Wow, that would be great.
Yeah, but you know, for the F-Works or for the Air Force, getting an Air Force customer up front, understanding what the Air Force need is, for the National Science Foundation, being able to get customer feedback, or people who are investors in that area saying, yeah, we would invest in this. It differentiates your product and it puts you on a different mindset, and it's a level above what your competition is going to be.
Absolutely.
And so if you're an aggressive company that is really looking to bring a product to the marketplace, there is no better program. I would advise everybody to at least participate in the SBIR program to some degree or some level, because you're going to learn so much more as it goes.
That's true. And there was something we were talking about earlier, and you mentioned that sometimes people are afraid.
Yeah.
You know, they have the idea, but they don't follow through with it because of fear.
Yeah.
And it's you know, one of those things that we just have to just shift our mindset and just start, you know, the businesses have to understand that even if they don't, like you said, if they don't even have the full idea created, it's about solving problems.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Find the problem to solve.
Yeah.
And the funding can be available.
That's right, to solve that problem. Yeah.
Right.
And I think this is one of the realizations that people get is, I'm going to receive this funding. Oh no, if I receive this funding, then this becomes real.
I'm accountable.
Yes. I have to do something with this.
I have to answer to someone.
Yep. And so
that's true.
I think that's something that may scare some people off. But if you're a serial entrepreneur, or you're someone that's hungry to get, that there's no bigger rush than like, I have this money, I am going to go after this.
Absolutely.
So
I'm thrilled about this program, and I just finished the 4-week cohort boot camp. It was absolutely outstanding. And I wanted to just talk about the resources that
Mhm.
are available once someone's accepted into the cohort for the phase 0. That
Yeah.
4 weeks, when you're making introductions to outside third-party resources,
Hmm.
can we just talk a
Yeah.
little bit about those
Sure.
resources?
So just the resources that we have within the HSC Next, which is the innovation and entrepreneur group that's run out of the Health Science Center, we have got our Sparkyard platform that provides free of charge resources to companies, who are looking for, maybe, who do I need to go to rent a space? Who do I need to talk to in banks? Who do I need to talk to be a mentor for my program? And it's free of charge resources that come into that are available to anybody that participates in the program. We have our patent people that work at HSC Next that can give, they're not patent lawyers, but they can give advice on what would be the best strategy on IP. How should I protect what I have? They can give that. If you're licensing from a university, they can give advice on the best way to structure a license deal and things like that. We offer lab space and office space for
Amazing.
companies that want to, if they need to do that. We have got,
That's amazing.
core labs. But
Yes.
to go back to what you said, so, we have two companies that we work with that are part of our grant process. One of them is called BBC ETC, and BBC are grant writing experts. This is all they do for their business, is they help people write SBIR grants. That's what they do. They review your document. They won't write it for you, but they will give you critical review and kind of send. You can do multiple iterations, send it back. Our program covers the entire cost of working with BBC. In addition to that, there's another company called Tremonti, and they provide a technology assessment. So you submit your material to Tremonti. They'll take a couple of weeks and review it, and then they'll develop a commercialization and technology assessment report. And
That's
so,
huge. That is,
yes, and it's
that's if someone
the
were to do this on their own. I mean, the value of
yeah,
just that alone.
yeah. You've seen the information that they have in
Yes,
their company contacts with emails and
absolutely.
telephone numbers, and
It's
it's a
incredible.
really really great resource. Then,
Yes.
in addition to that, um, myself and Nicole and Rob and the other people in HSC Next, we have got contacts in all of these university labs. So universities are multi-billion-dollar resources that are want to work with small businesses, and they have got genomics cores, or they've got engineering facilities that you
Right.
cannot afford if you're a small business. These guys, if you have an SBIR grant and you subcontract to them,
That's
that
it.
covers the cost. They will machine, they will do research for you, they will provide resumes and all of the things necessary to kind of help get yourself
Wow.
successful.
That's big.
It is big, absolutely
Then the
huge.
graduate students that are going to
That
help you,
then they can come work for your company whenever they can. Yeah,
absolutely. It's just,
it
it's a
is.
win-win
It
in so
is.
many
Mm-hmm.
ways.
Abs-
And, if we think about it, I mean, just having just the advisory team just to guide the businesses along the way, there's nothing that they have to figure out on their
yeah,
own. Every business that comes into the program has you
yeah,
and Nicole to
that's right.
coach them
Yeah.
through step 1, 2, and you're very specific. It's
Hmm.
so precise.
Yeah.
Follow. That's the biggest key, from myself, my perspective, my team. We've gone through the program and we've understood very clearly we don't have to reinvent the wheel.
Yeah.
We just need to follow the
Follow the
instructions.
instructions.
That's
That's
it.
yeah. Like I say, it's a game. It's a formula, and
Yes,
each formula is a little different. But you follow that formula, and your chances of success go way up.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the criteria.
Hmm.
So if someone is very excited, if they're hearing us talk about the program and they want to apply, what would that look like for
So
new
it's a
businesses?
really simple process, but there is some criteria that are really important. So first of all, because this is a Tarrant County funded program, the company has to be located in Tarrant County or has to be working out of Tarrant County. They don't have to, their main office doesn't have to be in Tarrant County, but they do have to be doing work in
In
Tarrant
Tarrant
County.
County.
They have to have a physical Tarrant County address where mail can go to and stuff like that, that they can use. That's the first thing. The second thing is they have to have some kind of a research plan that they need to do for their project. And so this kind of scares people a little bit because they think research, oh, beakers and test tubes and Bunsen burners and all this. That's not necessarily what that really entails. Research is what do I need to discover about this product to show that it works. So if you have an app that you want to help people get over some kind of an addiction, you have to show that there's the feasibility of that. And this is what that program allows you to do. So you're going to develop your app, then you're going to try it out with these people and make sure it doesn't crash and it does this and it does that. All of these things are really important to get the product to the marketplace. But that's fundamental research that's never been done before. So that's patentable. You could publish papers on it.
Yes,
all
you
of
can.
those things.
All of the above.
And so it's not boffins and white coats and stuff doing that. It is like, what R&D do I need to do? What research do I need to do to get my product to the marketplace? So that has to be there. SBIR are not going to fund buying 12 bulldozers to clear away between Dallas and Fort Worth for health disparities or something like that.
That doesn't count.
And we had
eligible.
We had someone else who had come to us who had got a really great idea for a gambling app for kids, and they were like, "Yeah, we can have
gambling app for kids."
Yeah,
really?
they were like, "Yeah, we can play Monopoly, and they can like swap this money." And I'm like, "I'm sorry, man, the government is not the government's not going to pay for that." So having to be able to understand. So we have an application process. You go to the HSE website, and there's if you look for that Phase Zero SBIR Phase Zero program, there's an Apply Now button.
Yes.
Hit the Apply Now button,
please,
and it brings you to an intake form. The intake form probably takes about 20 minutes to do, but it's going to ask certain specific questions related to your location, the size of your company. So we determine eligibility. From that, it asks, are you registered with any of the federal agencies? If you're not, that doesn't matter. We'll help you do that. That's just to give us an idea of where they are with that. And then it's like, what do you see as your research plan in Phase 1? What do you see as your commercial potential? What do you see doing in Phase 2? And so we kind of structure it like that. It gives Nicole and I an idea of what we're going to have to kind of invest into each one of the companies as they come through, and then helps us identify target solicitations for them as they come through the program.
Wow.
So once you fill out the forms, you'll be sent to a site that's got a non-disclosure agreement and a participation agreement. Sign that, and you're ready to participate in the program.
That is awesome. Not a hard process.
It's not a hard process.
Painless. Trust me, I've been through it.
Yeah.
It's not hard.
Yeah.
And is there another cohort coming up soon, or are you taking any
new
applicants?
we are full through January and February.
Wow.
March, we are coming here.
Okay.
I believe it's in March that we're coming here, or no, maybe February.
Okay.
February, we're coming here to do our cohort here. So the VBOC cohort is full.
Yes.
So we're continually taking applications on an all-round basis. I don't want to say we make exceptions, because we really don't, but sometimes we do, right?
Okay.
So I mean, if you're a company and you're aggressive and you think, okay, this is a deadline I really, really want to meet, we will work with you in order to meet that deadline. And so there are some, I wouldn't say stretching the rules or bending the rules, but we can have a little bit of leeway to help someone who is really dedicated and is willing to put the work in.
That's the key.
To meet a certain deadline. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And that's something that everyone that's watching this video, if this is of interest to them, you need to know that this is a commitment.
It is a commitment.
Come in and you want to be 100% dedicated to, meeting deadlines, following,
following the instructions.
Everything has to be exactly.
So typically writing a grant is going to take about 100 hours to write a really good, strong grant. But take it in little bits over a period of time, and it'll fall into place a lot quicker than you think. And a lot of this is not just writing the grant, it's the paperwork that goes along with
That's
it,
true.
and understanding how to fill out a resume in the format that the agency needs, how to fill out current and pending support in the format that
That's
agency
right.
requires.
And the font
and the
size has to
fonts,
be
yeah,
perfect. The
yeah, it's crazy. So
margins have to be perfect. I mean,
yeah, it's the
yes.
Department of Education, and they say that you have to have page numbers on your grant, but it has to be in the top right hand corner of the application.
Wow.
If you don't,
Very
if
specific.
you submit one and that's not there, it is discarded right away. They triage all the people,
Wow.
and they change the rules a little bit for each application to make sure people are following the instructions and you're not just going back to the ones you did before.
Wow.
And so, yeah, there's a lot of subtleties, a lot of little subtleties that are in there. So.
And that's just another reason why people
Mhm.
that are interested in this program need to follow it or apply
Yeah,
and be
to
part
learn
of the
and learn how to
cohort.
do it. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and learn how
Doing
to
it
do
on your own, it's just the hard way.
it is.
There's
Yeah,
no reason to
yeah,
do the hard
yeah.
hard way. I mean,
I mean,
why?
yeah, that's right. I mean, like I say, we're here to help.
That's it.
This is what our mission is. This is what our goal is. Um, it's people always ask me. They say, what do you get out of this? What is
Mhm.
it that you must be getting something out of this? We don't take equity in the companies. We don't take any. Our reward is to see a company that has never written one of these before show up and have a completed application that's submitted, and you look at it and it looks fantastic, and they were like, wow, I couldn't have done this before. I couldn't have done this without your help. And for me, that's the biggest reward that I have, the satisfaction of being able to see some of these businesses and some of these companies that were struggling for this to do this before be successful. And that's a huge reward for me. And it's the same for, I speak for Nicole as well. That's, we're always there to to help these companies and encourage them and be the cheerleaders from them, and it makes us happy. That's how this is the job satisfaction that we have. It's to see these people succeed in what they're doing and being able to write these grants, because I know once they write one, if they stick with it, they'll get that idea funded at some point in the future, even if they don't get it funded the first time. And so the tenacity to stick with it, and the go-getness, and it's great reward to work with the companies. And
Yes.
so
Wow. Adrian, you've just been such a great resource. Thank you for all you do in making the sacrifice to put the time in, even to coach
yeah,
sometimes uncoachable
yeah,
business owners that
yeah,
don't follow the instructions.
instructions,
Just
yeah,
trust me, there's more of the good
yeah,
ones
yeah,
out there.
yeah,
They're coming.
absolutely, yeah.
But just for that sacrifice, thank you for that.
Thank you. And you know what? It has been a pleasure to speak with you today. It really
Yes.
has. And thank you for coming through our program. Is there anything that you would say to me about kind of your experience with it that I could learn from?
Wow. I I would say going into the program, I came in with an open mind,
Mm,
and definitely I think every single participant needs to show up in person. I think there is the
yeah.
option to
Hmm.
attend the first
Session
session, in
in person,
person and
but
then
then the
everything
rest, yeah.
virtual, but that's probably not the best idea because
Hmm.
they don't get a chance to talk to you.
Yeah.
Every time we had conversations, I picked up something
Hmm.
new,
Yeah.
some new advice, some suggestion that you
Hmm.
shared with me. And even just down to even when we were creating our quad chart,
Yeah.
our just to have you put it on the screen and
Hmm.
say, okay, let's change this word.
Yeah.
Let's say it this way,
Hmm.
being able to just get your direct feedback.
Yeah.
For me, that was valuable.
Yeah.
And I don't think that would have been possible had I gone just
Hmm.
to the remote sessions.
Yeah.
The in-person sessions have all the value.
Yeah.
And so I would also say, I mean, I remember the last day, I almost didn't want to leave. I'm thinking, is this the last day? I mean, it went so fast.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just wanted to just stay there and just ask as many questions as you would allow. And I think
Yeah.
you were looking at your watch and wondering, like, I gotta go,
Yeah.
come back next time. But you
Yeah.
have been amazing, you and Nicole,
Yeah.
and the handouts, the
Hmm.
introductions. I mean, everything that we needed, you you provided. You were responsive. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I just want to say as well, as we kind of conclude here, I feel that this program has been very successful in Tarrant County. My big ask for you people out there, the people that are watching this podcast, if you think this would be beneficial for the counties that you live in North Texas, send me a letter, send me an email saying, hey, we think that bringing a program like this to Denton County or Dallas County or Parker County or, Collin County,
Yes.
this would be a big deal, because we really want to expand this program out and bring it to everybody in North Texas. So we have an ecosystem here that's thriving, that's developing innovation, that's using these funds to get their products up and running so they can get venture capital investment or angel investment, and really get these technologies out into the marketplace. It's a great resource if you're starting out, if you're a small business and you're starting out and you want to do that. This is a great program for you.
Yes, it is.
We would love to bring this to the whole of North Texas. So you can send me an email and say, Adrian, we'd be really interested in having this program in Dallas County or Denton County or whatever. And that's my ask that I have of you. So.
Okay, and Adrian, please share your email address. How would someone reach you? What
Sure.
is it?
It's my name, so it's Adrian, ADRIAN .Denvir, DENVIR @UNTHSC.edu.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's so much fun talking to you. I believe that this is going to change so many people and their minds. The light bulbs are going to come on, and thank you so much.
And I'm looking forward to working with you and your grants. It's going to be fun.
I know. We want to get them every year. We want to keep them coming.
Yeah.
So again, I couldn't have done anything without you getting to this point. I just know that the best is still yet to come. So
absolutely.
yes.